Have you noticed that some homes in Bowling Green seem to sell almost instantly, while others sit on the market for months? What's interesting is that they're often in the same city, sometimes even the same neighborhood. So what's the difference? Because if you're planning to buy or sell a home this year, misunderstanding what's really happening in our market could cost you thousands of dollars. And before this video is over, I'm going to share the biggest mistake sellers are making right now that causes homes to sit far longer than they should. If we haven't met yet, I'm Nikki Adams, a realtor here in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Every week, I help buyers and sellers make smart real estate decisions based on what's actually happening in our local market, not what they're hearing in the headlines. Let's dive in. One of the most important numbers in real estate is something called days on market. Days on market simply measures how long it takes for a home to go under contract after it's listed for sale. Think of it as a pulse check on the market. When homes sell quickly, demand is strong. When homes take longer to sell, buyers typically have more options and more negotiating power. So how fast are homes selling in Bowling Green right now? The average home is taking around 80 days to sell. Now, before you panic, if you're a seller, or celebrate if you're a buyer, there's something important you need to understand. That number doesn't tell the whole story. In fact, that is where most people get confused. Because while the average is around 80 days, I'm seeing some homes generate strong activity within the first week. Some receive multiple showings almost immediately, and some go under contract relatively quickly. At the exact same time, I'm seeing other homes sit on the market for 90, 120, even 150 days or longer. So why does that happen? The answer comes down to three things: price, presentation, and marketing. That's it. The homes that are winning in today's market are usually getting those three things right. They're priced appropriately for the current market conditions, they're clean, well prepared, and show well online, and they're marketed strategically so buyers actually notice them. The days of putting a sign in the yard, uploading a few photos, and expecting buyers to fight over your home are largely behind us. Today's market rewards preparation, it rewards strategy, and honestly, that's not a bad thing. A lot of people hear that homes are taking longer to sell and immediately assume that the market is struggling. I actually see several positives. For buyers, there are more choices than we've seen in years. There's more time to think through decisions, more opportunities to negotiate, more chances to complete inspections and due diligence without feeling rushed. For sellers, the buyers who are actively looking today tend to be serious buyers. They're not just browsing. They're moving because they need to move, and that's creating opportunities on both sides of the transaction. But here's the bigger story that most people aren't talking about: inventory. Inventory is really what's driving this shift. A few years ago, buyers were competing over very limited inventory. Today, buyers have significantly more options. When buyers have more options, they become more selective. They're comparing homes side by side, they're evaluating value more carefully, and they're taking their time, which means sellers have to work harder to stand out. And that leads me to what may be the most important things sellers need to understand right now. The first 2 weeks on the market matter more than any other period of your listing. When your home first hits the market, it's getting the highest level of attention it's likely to ever receive. It shows up as a new listing, buyers receive alerts, agents share it with clients, people click on it online. Curiosity is at its highest point. If your home generates strong activity during that initial window, that's usually a great sign. But if it doesn't, buyers start asking questions. Is it overpriced? Is something wrong with it? Why hasn't it sold? And once those questions start, selling often becomes much more difficult. Now let's talk about buyers for a moment. One mistake I see buyers make is focusing only on the newest listings. The reality is that some of the best opportunities are homes that have been sitting on the market for a while. A home that's been listed for 60, 90, or even 120 days may have a seller who's more flexible on price, more willing to help with closing costs, more open to repairs, or more motivated to negotiate favorable terms. That's why understanding the days on market can give buyers a significant advantage. And now for the biggest myth I promised earlier. Many sellers believe that if their home doesn't sell, they can simply wait long enough and eventually get their price. Sometimes that's true, but often the opposite happens. The longer a home sits, the more buyers begin questioning its value. And instead of gaining leverage, sellers often lose it. That's why proper pricing from day one is usually far more effective than chasing the market with multiple price reductions later. So what does all this mean for you? It means the Bowling Green market isn't crashing, it isn't exploding, it's becoming more balanced. And in a balanced market, strategy matters more than ever. Buyers who understand the data are finding opportunities. Sellers who understand the data are still achieving excellent results. The people who struggle are usually the ones relying on outdated information or assumptions. If you're curious how quickly homes are selling in your specific neighborhood or subdivision, drop the name of your area in the comments below. I personally read every comment and I'd be happy to share what I'm seeing there. And if you're thinking about buying or selling and want to know exactly what's happening in your price range, there's a link in the description where you can schedule a free strategy call. If you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe because every week I share local market updates, home buying tips, home selling strategies, and everything you need to know about living in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.